wala pibor Pin Ping William Atoyin Juba wala Tori Ayam yo Pin Ping William Atoyin Benti wala Kwaju Kaya wow Pin Ping William Atoyin Malkal wala Pinyaram Pin Ping William
Hello, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to Let's State Media. My name is Abraham Medit-Majak. I'm one of the Let's State Media hosts. This evening, my guest in the studio with me is Honorable Lual Dau. Honorable Lual Dau is a member of SSUF, South Sudan United Front / Army. He's a secretary for External Affairs. So he's here today on behalf of General Paul Malongawan and also on behalf of NCF. So for this evening, before we start our discussion, please, I would like for those of you in Clubhouse, Facebook, YouTube to start sharing this live show. So I would like to say Happy New Year and Happy Sunday. I hope you guys will have a wonderful worshiping this Sunday. So I hope God will have a blessing to all of you. And I hope everyone have a blessing Sunday. Before we dive into our conversation, let me welcome my guest and introduce to himself for 1 to 2 minutes, and then we'll start our discussion. Honorable Lual Dau, welcome to Lex Media. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, Brother Medit-Majak and the Leg State Media team for the good job you guys have been doing for our country. So it is really appreciated. That being said, also allow me to take this opportunity to wish the people of South Sudan around the world a Happy New Year. And we hope that 2024 will be a year for peace, reconciliation, and unity among our people who deserve that. I am happy to be here on behalf of General Paul Malone, the leader of SSUF-A, and also I am here as a part of National Consensus Forum leadership to share with you and the people of South Sudan what we have been working on upon launching the National Consensus Statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Lual, for before I go into our conversation, let me begin on asking you, how is SAP doing? How is everything? Before I go to NCF statement, so I would like to talk about how's the SSUF doing right now. So how's everything going? Because for past few months ago, we hear a lot of like 3 or 2 months ago, I heard that there's some of the generals they defected from the movement. Is that true? Because I tried to reach out at the time to bring in. Yeah, actually, I bring one of the spokesperson of SAF like less than 3-4 months ago. So how things going with SAF?
South Sudan United Front is doing amazing, but we are not working alone. We are part of non-signatories South Sudanese opposition groups, and also we are part of National Consensus Forum. But at the same time, we are all really bothered by what is happening in our country, and we are looking for ways to find a permanent and lasting solution to all the issues that are facing us as people of South Sudan.
Thank you. A couple weeks ago, on before Christmas, NCF launched a statement. All the political party leadership came together and released the press statement. Can you highlight what is the main theme of the NCF statement you guys launched a couple weeks ago?
That's a very good question, Brother Abraham Ahmadin Majak.
Mm.
But before I answer that question, let me go back. Why did we even form the National Consensus Forum in the first place? According to my understanding, all of us South Sudanese have struggled for centuries against oppressions, against marginalization that we have experienced from the successive regime in Sudan. And that struggle has gone for so many centuries. The last one was the SPLM-SPLA, in which you, Brother Abraham Majak, and many other South Sudanese young people were part of young people who left all the way from Bahar Ghazal to Ethiopia to join the liberation. And the idea of why you and your colleagues and all South Sudanese went there was to fight for a new Sudan that will accommodate all Sudanese. Unfortunately, our brothers or successive regime in Khartoum did not listen. And we ended up with an independent South Sudan, which is a dream of many people. And that's why when the flag was raised on July 2011, every South Sudanese, wherever they are, at that particular time they remember. And everyone was emotional. Why? Because we thought that as we raise that flag and we lower the Sudanese flag, finally, we will have a country in which all of us will be equal citizens, a country in which all of us will be under the laws, a country in which we will have a good education system for the children of rich people and also for the children of poor people that deserve a good education. We will have a country in which we have a healthcare that takes care of everyone, where you will have good hospitals across South Sudan. We will have a country in which we will have a modern roads with modern highways. We have a country that will have peace, security, unity among her people. In short, all of us, as the leadership of South Sudan at the time, in which some of us now in oppositions and some of us remain in the government, have failed to realize that dream for the people of South Sudan. And because we failed, we realized that in NCF, that the only thing we could do as a people of South Sudan is to sit in the National Consensus Forum in which all of us, people of South Sudan, will sit and try to find a solution for our problem, not a blame game. We are trying to sit not as enemies. Honestly speaking, we are not enemies. The same people who are in the government today and people who are in oppositions were brothers, were colleagues who fought the war of liberation together. So they are not enemies. We have just lost the direction. We have lost the vision that we are fighting for. So NCF, in short, is a way that is working to bring everyone, every South Sudanese together, all the opposition groups, women, youth, religious-based organizations, civil society, government. We have to figure out ways, sit as one people and solve the issues that divide us so that we have a country that will work for all of us. That is the essence of the national consensus we launched in December 2023.
Thank you, Honorable Lual Dau. You mentioned about we people of South Sudan, we want to come together and sit down around table to discuss our differences, which is a very good. My question to you regarding this, what is the difference between NCF and National Dialogue and ARCIS? So these three have been tried. National Dialogue has been tried, it doesn't work. ARCIS now is still going on, but still it's not seen they signed the peace agreement from 2018. It's still people are dragging that not achieve a peace agreement. What will NCF do different from National Dialogue and ARCIS to sit down with the government so that the peace can come to the country? Thank you.
Well, both documents were very, very important documents. First, when you talk about national dialogue, although I was not in the country, I follow it closely. Our people from Buma, from Piam, from county, from states, and across South Sudan spoke. And it was a good exercise that was done as a way to correct everything that we were doing wrong. But the national dialogue came with a very good resolutions. And one of the resolution, and to be frank with you, Brother Madid, I think that's where they went wrong. And that's actually where they failed. Is the fact that people of South Sudan decided that certain people must go. And any solution in a country like ours, if you come with a solution and you say Madin Madjag should go, and Madin Madjag is in the power, you are actually automatically not going to go anywhere. That's what happened with the national dialogue. Am I blaming them? Why did they say that? No, I can see why the people of South Sudan across decided that certain individuals should leave and exit political seats. I know that. But it's not going to be easy when you find someone sitting comfortably in his chair as a leader and you will say that person has to go. By just saying it alone is not a solution. Secondly, the agreement itself, when you talk about the agreement that was signed in Sudan, it was a very good agreement, in my view. But the problem with that agreement, it has failed to solve the problem. What is the problem of South Sudan? Because if you want to bring a permanent peace agreement, you have to ask yourself, what is the problem? And then when you define the problem, you will go and solve that problem. In my view, the problem of South Sudan is a leadership failure. And when I say leadership failure, I don't mean one particular person. It means that all the leaders who led South Sudan during pre-independent and after independence have failed the people of South Sudan. That's what happened. Okay, how do you solve that? You don't solve that by bringing more people into the leadership. The agreement mainly focuses on accommodating political class. That's why you have many, like you have 5 vice presidents, you have ministers, you have 1,000 MPs, and you have. Clearly, it's not going to solve because the problem is something different than the solution. That's why the agreement failed 2018. Now, when we talk about what we are proposing as a roundtable conference, for us, we don't take it as the only best solution. No. For us, all we are doing in NCF, we are thinking out of the box. Because you cannot continue to address the same problem, face the same problem, come up with the same solution, and you expect a different result. So, in order to bring peace and unity among South Sudanese, we have to think outside of the box. And our thinking in NCF, we said, okay, let us have a roundtable conference in which all the people of South Sudan will come and sit and find a solution. Okay. The name is not even a big deal. What is the big deal if what we are thinking in NCF as a way forward is not the best solution? And you, Madid Majak, or someone in the government or other opposition group have something better that they think will bring people of South Sudan together, please come up with that. We are open to discuss that, provided that it is going to be better than what we are proposing, provided it is going to bring a lasting solution to our problem as people of South Sudan, provided that it is going to be an inclusive process in which everyone has to be there. And that's the vision we see as the best outcome. And a roundtable is the idea that everyone will be there. You want to give it a different name? As long as everyone will be there, the government will be there. The opposition group in the country will be there. Youth will be there. Religious leaders will be there. Oppositions outside will be there. And we are going to ask ourselves a simple question: where did we go wrong? And what can we do to solve it? It's not a blame game. Okay? It's not a blame game, blaming X for doing this and this. It's not going to help us, because this is what we have been doing. I know you are in social media. If you go to social media, you will find people blaming. That's what people are good at. But did that change anything? No. Will that change anything? No. What will change something is for us to define the problem. We all go out there and solve that problem, and we have a country. Because I'm sure what the government needs is what we need And what we need is a prosperous new South Sudan in which we have good schools, good hospitals, good roads, security, peace among our people. That's all we need.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dau. You know, your party, SSUF, you're one of the member of Rome peace negotiation with the government. And your negotiation with the government has been going on for a few years now, and there's no solution outcome. So how can the NCF will work now if the round table? How the round table will work while the Rome peace negotiation is not working? So how will this new proposal coming out from opposition party, which umbrella of SSUF, of NCF, how can it will work and it's fair on Rome, and also it fair in nation dialogue? So can you explain what will be the new approach on the round table and how it will work and how the people of South Sudan will receive it? At the same time, is it government is gonna accept it and accept it and go on to a round table with opposition? So explain more about this, because the citizen don't understand, because opposition and the government, they move from point A to point B. If nation dialogue doesn't work, they move on to the next. And let us focus on NCF and also to the Rome peace negotiation, because the Rome peace negotiation it didn't work. Seeing you guys are on negotiation with the government. So what will be the difference between, and what NCF would bring on round table, how the round table will work, and others peace negotiation has not worked in the past. Thank you. Go ahead.
Brother Abraham, thank you. And I want to also alert you that the peace negotiation that we are doing in Rome, it was a negotiation between the non-signatories South Sudanese opposition groups. But also, we are part of National Consensus Forum. And in fact, we and the National Consensus Forum, we are one. And the only way that is going to be successful, whether it's not even, by the way, it's not even about Rome, or is about us as SSUF or non-signatories. Forget about us. Forget about NCF. Even if we now decide to say, okay, we will just shut up, we will not say anything, and you leave our brothers in Juba alone to solve this problem, they are not going to solve it. I know that they are not going to be at peace. You know why? Because they themselves in Juba are divided. They are divided between a group A, which is the government, and by the government I mean the SPLM in government under the leadership of President Kiir. They have decided that they are going for election. The second group, which is the opposition group led by the Toriak, they don't want election. Or let me put it correctly, not because they don't want election, they are calling for a fair and a credible election, which they will not get. There's no way you can have credible election between now and the end of the year. It's not going to be possible. So in another way, what they are calling for the status quo. They want to continue as a vice president. They want to continue as ministers. They want to continue as MPs. They don't have another alternative. They don't have solution. And that is dangerous. There is a third group in Juba And these are also political groups that are very much supporting the position of the SPLM in government. For them, they want to continue also as ministers, as MPs, and they are confused. They don't care about service delivery. So when you have such a divided group, if you go for an election and there is no consensus on it, we know the result of it. If the president say, okay, let's forget about election and continue to extend ourselves again for another 2 years, 3 years, also it is a problem because the country cannot afford this huge government to continue. Because of that contradictions, we are saying, okay, let us have a different thinking altogether. Let us think outside of the box as people of South Sudan. If we cannot have credible election, we cannot continue to extend ourselves. We cannot continue to fight ourselves. What is it can be done to bring unity, reconciliation, and development to our people? In NCF and in non-signatories, we call it round table. Come up with what you think. Things out of the box. Don't continue to say the same thing that you are doing that is not working and you expect it's going to work. It's not going to work. This year, 2024, we have to think, we have to do effort to think and think deep and think out of the box. If what we are calling for, which is roundtable conference, is not the best, and I repeat this, then what do you have as alternative that can bring us together? Thank you.
So, is it NCF is supporting election?
NCF current election that they are saying in Juba is not supported by NCF, and I said it earlier.
Why the NCF is not supporting election?
In principle, NCF believe in a transitional. What is election basically? Election is the best way to transfer the power from X to Y. In our country, if you want to have a fair and a credible elections, the first thing you need to do is to go back and have a permanent constitution. Brother Madid Majak, since 2005 until now, we don't have permanent constitution. And that's where we have problem. All the countries who are successful in the world, when they have the country, the first thing they will do, they will go for a constitutional conference in which all these problems that are facing us, you solve them there. What are the problems that are facing us? Why we don't have a good civil service program that civil servants are productive and they are paid on time? Why we don't have hospitals? Why we don't have healthcare? Why we don't have roads? In my view, the reason we don't have this, the solution will be found on the constitution. Because if you have a permanent constitution, it will say there in that constitution that we have a federal system of governance. What does that mean? It means that the resources that we have from the oil and non-oil revenues, all this money are going to go to Payams, are going to go to the boomers, are going to go to the counties, are going to go to the states. That's where our people are. You don't do that unless you have a permanent constitution. When you have a permanent constitution, then the second thing, you will have a democracy within the parties first. If you want to talk about democracy, you don't start it with general election. you started within the party. SPLM is the biggest party in our country. They need to have a democracy within the SPLM. By that, they need to have a fair and a credible election within the SPLM. And when they do that, they will have their candidates at the state level, they will have their candidates at the national level, they will have their candidates at presidential level. There is no credible, or there is not even a democracy within that particular party. Now, the SPLM-IO should have also a democracy within itself. Because how did SPLM-IO come about? Victoria, with few people set, and they agreed that Riek will continue to be their leader. It is not also enough. They need to sit, do the same process. They have to have credible election at their state level. They have their candidates as MPs. And then if they elected Dr. Riek as their flag bearer for the election, and then other party will do the same thing, now you have a permanent constitution, you have democracy within the party, you have peace and stability in the country, refugees come back home, then you go for a fair and a credible election. In that election, if you are to ask me or anybody in NCF, if that is the election you want, yes, that's what we want. But we don't want an election where people will go for election, you announce the result today, and tomorrow other people are going to bush again. Why? Because someone rigged my vote. We don't want that. Because that will add suffering to our people. And that's exactly what you will get if you insist on going for election. But at the same time, we don't also want the status quo to continue. This big government. We don't want that. Because if you continue to have this huge government with 5 vice presidents, okay, you have all these 1,000 MPs, you have all these, what is the result? The result is that our people could go without salary. People who are even working. Okay? This is so terrible for the whole country. So let me say that both options are not going to help bring peace and stability in the country. And that's why NCF is saying we are for election, but we are for a credible and fair election in which all people should compete freely.
Okay, so if the government proceed ahead for election this year, will NCF participate in the election, or are you guys going to be boycott the election?
No, NCF, if the election is to take place by the end of the year, NCF will not be part of election.
Okay. Now, the NCF, so I heard that the NCF had 21 political party, the umbrella. And you mentioned before that the government is divided within. The SPLI or SPLIG, they are divided in political way. But at the same time, Honorable Lual Dau, opposition themselves are divided. So how now the NCF, the umbrella of 21, if I'm wrong, there are political party, and these 21 political parties are not yet registered. And the government is not recognizing them. So, and the opposition are divided. So these things, why you guys are divided and you are calling for a round table, and you are not, people of South Sudan say that, okay, opposition, you guys need to call to solve your issues first, to come up to unify yourself, have a one leadership, because you guys now, there's no leader in the NCF. Everyone is leader. What we hear in social media is that Jerome is a spokesperson of NCF, but there's no chairman of NCF. So all the political party of opposition are the leader. So how it will work if you guys don't have a leadership of NCF? That can show that the opposition are divided, and you are not you are not go forward or unified and then talk with one voice so that you can push your agenda to convince the people of South Sudan, and also to fight or to push, to give the pressure to the government, and governments can see you guys that okay, this opposition are united and they have one voice, they speak for one voice, and this is their leadership and this is their bodies, so I can recognize them. But at the same time, you mentioned that the government is divided. Yes, same time too, opposition are divided. So can you explain a little bit more about the division within opposition? Thank you very much.
No, Brother Madrid, it is true that oppositions has issues. You know, when you have a problem in the country, if someone have cancer, the whole body is under threat. When they say the cancer is spread, then the cancer is everywhere. That's exactly the same case of South Sudan. The problem of South Sudan has spread. It is everywhere. It is within the government and it is also within the oppositions. The idea that you have more than 21 opposition itself is a problematic. And it will be even more. Because when this conflict started, it started between two groups, SPLM and the SPLM-IO. Now, as we speak, how many opposition leaders in the country? A lot. How many opposition groups outside of the country? A lot. Now, if that is the case, then it's going to get worse. And the opposition outside and the country, all of them have issues. So the best thing, that's why we are saying, everyone, wherever you are, you come and we sit as brothers and sisters and let us find solution to our problem. That's the simple thing we are saying. As for us in NCF, National Consensus Forum, we don't have problem within NCF. Yes, we don't have one leadership, but we don't have problem. But there is a lot of other opposition groups outside the NCF that are not part of NCF. We need them to be part of that table or of that consensus that you are going to build. So in short, as a country, we are all facing problems. And nobody should be proud that I am perfect and the other person is wrong. That's why from beginning of this interview until now, I'm not blaming anybody, because I know we have all one way or the other contributed to this mess. And it is our job to clean the mess as one people. Otherwise, our children will continue to suffer and even they will die as a result of this conflict.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Dau. Let me move away and then let's talk about the letter that President Salva Kiir wrote to President Kenya, William Ruto, last week. President sent a letter to President of Kenya to ship. So President wants to ship the peace negotiation that you guys are having, having a peace negotiation with the government in Rome. But President of Kenya to be a moderator of this peace negotiation, and he wants to ship it a peace negotiation from Rome to Kenya. And in the media, I see in the iRadio, SSUF, your boss, your chairman, Paul Malongawan, or yourself has a group, you guys respond. And you guys accepted that that's a good idea. to be Rompees to be moved to Kenya. On the other hand, we see General Thomas Chirilo Camp, NAS, they're rejecting it. But when we interview Honorable General Paganamo last week, he didn't decide it yet. He said that we will be having a meeting on Monday, which is last Monday. Maybe the meeting still, you guys are still going ahead. You can give us an update if that meeting go ahead or not. So is it true that SSUF agree the proposal that the government want to ship the penal ship from Rome to Kenya?
Well, that is one of good question, Brother Madid. First and foremost, Kenya is one of the countries within the region that we have so much respect for. As you know, Kenya broke the agreement, the comprehensive peace agreement was achieved through the IGAD and in Kenya. So, and not only that, Kenya also hosted many leaders of our struggle. They were in Nairobi. He hosted them then, and now it continued to host us. So it is a country that we, the people of South Sudan, has respect for. And the president has done something good for reaching out to Kenya to find a solution for our problem. After we hear about it, the Kenyan also have to study the letter and then respond. They will respond first to the President Kiir that, yes, we accepted to lead the negotiation. And then after that, they will send two letters, a letter to the government in Juba and a letter to us. And in our meeting, the General Pagan talked about, yes, we met. And in that meeting, all the leaders were there. The leaders of non-signatories, beginning with General Pagan, General Paul Malong, General Thomas Shirilo, Ambassador Jawin, Dr. Alex, and all the leaders of non-signatories. And we discussed this particular proposal by the government. And the conclusion, and that is the official conclusion, is that we as a non-signatories cannot respond to an invitation through the social media or through the media. What we are going to do, we are going to wait for the official invitation. And when we are invited, now we have a spokesperson, which is General Pagan. General Pagan will come here to Lake State Media and will go to all these media and it will announce our position, whether we are going to be part and parcel of the Kenyan Peace Initiative or not. That announcement will come from the official spokesperson of the non-signatories. As part of opposition, the statement you allude to, first of all, those statements were not from General Malone and they were not from General Thomas Shirilo. They were from the spokesperson of those organizations. And I will urge those spokespersons to focus on the affair of the organizations and leave the affair of non-signatories to the spokesperson of the non-signatories, which is SG Pakanamo. So going forward, this is the right person that will speak on behalf of non-signatories. They can speak on behalf of NAS, they can speak on behalf of SSUF, they can speak on behalf of those organizations. But we are going to go to this negotiation as non-signatories. And that is the position we are waiting for. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. So you said that you are going to this negotiation as a non-signatory, not in Soma.
Yes. Soma, it is, you know, there are so many acronyms. We started as SOMA. And then now, as we speak, we are called non-signatories South Sudanese Opposition Group.
Okay.
And the president is going to invite us. The president of Kenya will invite us to that talk. And
So
we have our spokesperson. So let us.
You sound like Honorable now. You sound like somebody's dead, right? That's
No, it's just we are no longer operate under the title SOMA. We operate as non-signatory source opposition group. That's our name now.
But the government,
the same people, the same mission.
Right, but the government
is just like Abraham Madid. I know you are Madid, you are Abraham. It's the same thing.
Right, but the name is changed. But the government is recognized the SOMA, not the non-signatory.
The government is negotiating with us now in Rome under non-signatory South Sudanese opposition group.
Okay.
We started as SOMA, then later on we became non-signatory South Sudanese opposition group. And we are negotiating in Rome in that title. So I'm assuming we are going to continue in Kenya with the same title if we agree to power.
So what about NCF?
NSSOG, which is non-signatories, is an umbrella of 5 organizations, in which these 5 organizations are also part of NCF. So if we are within NCF, we have a lot of other organizations.
Okay.
And we have what is called outreach program. These organizations also have their contact, like PCCA and others. What we are all agree on, and this is what we are selling, is that we have to think outside of the box. So if you are talking with anybody, make sure you are selling our agenda. And our agenda now is what I've told you from the very beginning, that we need to think outside of the box. Let us find something that will accommodate all of us, including NCF, including the government, including women, youth, and everyone. That's where the NCF will come in.
Okay. Yonko told me that NCF is a forum. So, help me here, Honorable Dau, and help the people of South Sudan, because I'm confused, and South Sudanese people are confused as well as I am. Because there will be 2 different peace negotiations with the government. Roundtable, which is proposed by NCF, and the Rome peace negotiation with SOMA. And at the same time, these 5 political parties who are in Rome peace negotiation with the government are the same member within NCF. So is it NCF and Rome, the group of non-signatories, you guys will unify as one group, or you guys will continue, SOMA will continue peace negotiation with the government in Rome, or shipping to Kenya if you guys agree? Meanwhile, there's another negotiation roundtable is pending here. So how these 2 going to work?
Well, basically, there is no confusion. We are actually one. There is no difference. When we talk about Rome, and in our last negotiation, when we were in Rome, the discussions was about, we told the government delegation and the mediators that yes, we have started negotiating Rome initiative. That's what we started. But now we felt like, okay, time has come to find the thing outside of the box. And what we came up with is a roundtable conference. And we said this roundtable conference, we believe, is the best solution that will bring South Sudanese together. And that's agenda of that. That's what we proposed during the Rome Peace Initiative. Now, we come, that roundtable is also the agenda of NCF, National Consensus Forum. And when we go to Kenya, if we are to go to Kenya, and we are going to go as, if we are invited as non-signatories, we will go with an open mind, the same approach that we have been using all along, that, look, our country is bleeding, we all need to come together. And if the president and the government agree on that, then even the negotiation may start. And this is if we become part of the negotiation in Kenya. And it may start as between two groups, the government and the non-signatories. But it will include everyone. It will include NCF. It will include all the other opposition groups, including those of Gadwij Dwal. It will include the other group, those of Kodak and the rest. All these groups, they have that. There are so many forums and opposition groups. We will appeal to make sure that we believe the solution to our problem needs all of us. And that requires everyone to be on that table, a table of building South Sudan, a table of building a new South Sudan. And that table should accommodate all of us. You can give it any name, but the principle is the same. It's a forum where we define the problem, come up with possible solution, reconcile as a people of South Sudan, and we go to work and rescue our country.
Thank you very much. Honorable Dau, some people view opposition as a fan of football dragging for peaceful settlement. Okay. Of your differences, what is your opinion about this? The people of South Sudan see you guys as a fan of football dragging peaceful settlement in different way. So what is your answer to this question? Thank you.
I feel the people of South Sudan, Brother Madid. I talk to them every day. And the true feeling I get from people I talk to, whether in Awil, in Rumbek, in Warab, in Malakal, in Juba, is that people really, really want simple things. South Sudanese want simple things. They want peace. They want a school for their children. They want hospitals. They want road. These are the job of the government. And we, in the end, in opposition, we are not obstacle to that. We are not against that. So if a citizen is frustrated with us, I'm sorry, I don't know why. Okay, we are not doing anything. We are not obstacle to that. But we are also asking for the same thing the citizens are asking for. What we know is that if we come together, the government, us, and the citizen, we can have a better country. And we are capable of that. And the sooner we do that, Brother Madid, the better. And if we don't do that, you and I and all these people who are making noise will die, and our children will continue to kill themselves over the same country. So it's better we stop the blame game. Let's rescue our country, solve this country, address these issues, so that your child and my child and all the children of South Sudan will live in peace. And no child should die after that. We better do that now. Actually, we should have done this long ago. It is overdue. And that vision will not happen with the blaming. Enough is enough. The blaming game is enough. None of us is against anybody. All of us, we were both, or yesterday, we were all in Sudan, used to be called Abid, right? We were all the marginalized. All of us. There was no exception. Okay, let us build a country in which all of us are first-class citizens, in which all of us enjoy the fruit of struggle. We are capable of doing that country. We are. I believe that. There are South Sudanese are capable of doing that. And the only problem that is affecting us is the fact that we are not realizing that. We are blaming ourselves. We are killing ourselves. We are threatening ourselves. We are doing so much to ourselves. Time has come to flip it around. Let us see ourselves as brothers. Let's see ourselves as people who suffer together, and we need the same thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Dau. You know, we mentioned before about how opposition are divided. And we have learned that the opposition groups are defining the conflict or the crisis in South Sudan as ethnic conflicts. So my question to you, Honorable Dau, this is the very challenging one. And this is what I'm seeing in the opposition, especially opposition diaspora. So my question to you, which tribe fighting another tribe in South Sudan? Because most of the opposition leaders and their supporters, what I'm hearing from the group, that define the issues in South Sudan, the fighting is the ethnic war. So is it this true? Thank you. Go ahead.
Brother Madid, what I know, it is true there are people who are talking. And I know why they are talking like that. Okay. But when you go to National Consensus Forum, the forum that includes all the opposition group, and if you read the definition of the problem, okay, in that document, which we share with a lot of people, you will find it that the problem of South Sudan is defined as a leadership failure. There is not a single ethnic group that is mentioned there. That is the correct definition. But part of individuals who are narrowed down to a certain tribe, to me, I think they are just making things worse for the country. I don't blame any ethnic group for the problem. Not only that, I don't even want to blame as one individual, because all this mess that is happening in our country, do you believe is one person that is doing it? No. It is all of us. People are good of getting themselves out of it and try to blame one person. That blaming game, what they will do, they will continue to stick in the power and also blame you. And I've seen this before in Sudan. Sudanese were blaming themselves. What did that blame game took them? It took them to what we all see now. The country is collapsing on their own eyes. South Sudanese need to learn from them. Let us stop blaming an ethnic group. Myself, when I was working back at the local government, at the state government, and I have visited a lot of states, what is happening in northern Bahr-el-Ghazal, it is the same thing is happening in Lakes, in Warab, in Malakal, in Jonglei, in Unity State, across South Sudan. in Eastern Equatoria, in Western Equatoria. What all these people need? All these places we have a state government, and this is where myself, I am one of a strong advocate for federal system of governance. What is it that I mean by that? We need a federal system where we make sure that the resources and the power leave Juba to Boma. So that when you have a national budget and you pass it, 90% of our money should go to Payam, should go to Boma, should go to the county, and should go to the states. And only 10% of the money should stay in Juba, the capital. So that you run these small government departments like presidency, foreign affairs, and defense, and salaries for MPs and so forth. Only 10% of our salary is enough to do that. But 90% of our money should go to where our people are. Because if you are going to build a road, you are not going to build it out of the air of South Sudan. You are going to build it somewhere in the Boma, in Lake State.
Mm-hmm.
So the money need to go to Lake State at that Boma. Because when you send the money there, and you have, and then you come as Madid Majak as a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
You said you build road. You will be given a contract to build a road. And the executive director of that Boma will monitor the road. The chiefs will monitor the road. So if you don't build the road, they are not going to pay you money. Simple as that. And it's the same thing for the schools, for hospital and everything. But now, in our case, in our country, we have flipped it the other way. 90% of the money are in Juba, 10% are in the states. What do they do with that? You are not going to solve that until you have that, what we said earlier, as a permanent constitution. We agree on the federal system. You take the resources, you take the money to the states, and boom and Payam, and let's develop our country. But anyway, let me conclude that all in all, this blaming game is not helping anybody. All these South Sudanese tribes have suffered together. All these our ethnicities have been marginalized together. And now we have a country. Let us all unite. Unite these people. Unite all these tribes. And make sure that the government is working for all of us, regardless of your tribe, whether this tribe is big or small, they are all one and only one citizen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Lual Dau. My last question, so that I can give people in Clubhouse, if they have anybody have a question, you can raise your hand, and my co-host Isaac, if you have a question to ask Honorable Dau, you can feel free. And for those of you who are watching in Clubhouse, on Facebook and YouTube, if you have a question to ask Honorable Dau, you can write on comment section, and I will pull up your question. Honorable Dau, my last question. Within opposition, SSUF has been accused. Paul Malong has been accused that Paul Malong is a government agent, and you guys are going to join the government very soon. And this rhetoric is always I hear it from within opposition. So they're saying that you guys are a government. So, within opposition, can you explain to the people of South Sudan if this allegation that has been put on you guys is true? SSUF is a member of the government. Thank you.
It is true. I hear that from time to time. The time that we spend in opposition should be enough to answer that. because if we were to be in government, or if the SAF is not opposition, is a secret agent to destroy the opposition, then we cannot do that for 5 years as of now, and even more. But Brother Madid, this is part of frustration. People are frustrated. Let me tell you. South Sudanese are frustrated. Because when you have a country that goes to war for more than 50 years since independence, all these people were born into war. And some of these, they never have even counseling, where you go and you be counseled mentally to see even if you are fit or not. And these are the people who were born during the war. They hear the shot of bullets since they were in their mother's wombs. People are frustrated. And when people are frustrated, they are quick to say anything and blame anybody. And you will find them, they blame everyone except themselves. They are the angel, they are the perfect. The idea that you give yourself that you are the custodian of opposition, you are the most loyal opposition, you are the one who is fighting for the right of South. Who appointed you? And then you decide to say, okay, this guy is not opposition enough. Well, the other guy is good enough. He's 75% opposition. This guy is, I am 100%. This in itself is someone that needs to seek medical attention. Because what we have as people of South Sudan, we have a problem, in my view. And that problem needs all of us. Even if let's assume, South decided to say, sign agreement and become part of government, you will still need us, even if you are in opposition, to find this solution. Because we are South Sudanese. So this is something that I take it as a part of the situation we are in as people. People are confused. People are frustrated. People are in exile. Being in exile is not an easy thing. You know, you can say anything and everything. So let me say that this is not true. SSUFA is part and parcel of non-signatories. We don't need approval from anybody to give us a mark, A plus or D or F, or to say we are 90% opposition, 100%. We don't need it from anybody. We have decided to do this ourselves, and we'll continue to do it as much as we want, and we will stop whenever we want to stop, and we don't need anybody to approve us or not. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Dau. Isaac, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, thank you so much, Abraham. I have one question to Honorable Lual. The question is, Lual Dau, thank you for coming to Lagos State Media once again. Some of the political opposition parties in NCF, they are accused of linking up with their involvement in the crisis in Sudan. Some are supporting and fighting with the rapid support forces. These accusations, will they not derail your political status with the government currently, whom you want to sit down to negotiate in Nairobi?
Very good question.
Thank you very much. And what I also want to share with you is that all these opposition group, none of this group is fighting in Sudan. The conflict in Sudan is a conflict within their border between the government of Sudan and Rapid Force. They are the one fighting. We are not party to it. And you take it from me, we've never been part of that, because what we also want in Sudan is the same thing we want for South Sudan. We want peace. We want Sudanese to have peace among themselves. So this information, brother, is not accurate. We are not fighting, or we are not party to the conflict of Sudan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Isaac, do you have any more?
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I think we come to conclude, we reach our time of this show. So thank you very much, everybody who watched it in Facebook and YouTube. Before I close down this interview, let me give this chance to Honorable Dau to give Lual Dau to give him his last remark before we close down the show. Honorable Lual Dau, go ahead and put in your last remark. Thank you so
much. Thank you very much, Brother Madid Majak, and all the Lake State media for hosting me once again. I was very happy to be here and interact with you and answer some of your questions. But let me conclude by saying that the country, South Sudan, we all fought for it. And thank God we have an independent state. Now, what is happening in our country, nobody is happy with it, including the president. Then what do we do? What is required from political class, whether in oppositions or in the government or academia, professionals, youth and women, is to think out of the box. Let us take this year, 2024, as a year of thinking deep and find a solution to our conflict. And when we find that, let us sit not as enemies, but let us sit as brothers and sisters, because we are not enemies. And in the end, I am sure we will reach a conclusion, we'll agree on something that will unite us. I don't know what it is now, but it is going to be something that we'll all be happy with. And from there, we will have a country that well developed, it has security, schools, hospitals, roads, and prosperous to all of us. That is a dream many people died for, and we need to continue pursuing that. With that, I thank you very much, Brother Madin Majak. I will stop there, and I look forward to the next interview with Lake State.
Thank you so much, Honorable Lual Dau. We really glad to happy to have you in our media platform. We always good to have you and react with the people of South Sudan, and we will looking forward to bringing you back again. And on the behalf of the State Media team, we really thank you and thank all our viewers for always standing in to Lake State Media to listen to our guests, what they are coming and said, and then because the more we come together as South Sudanese and sit down and let's discuss our differences, the more we will find the solution and solve them. So for being said, I would like to say thank you so much. Honorable Lual Dau, happy New Year again. We're still in New Year, and Happy New Year with your family. And I hope I will see you again. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Kabi ping William Toyina will wala pibor Ping ping William Toyin Juba wala Tori Hey yo Ping ping William Toyin Benti wala Kwaju Hey wow Ping ping William Toyin Malkal wala Pinyaram Ping ping William